Okay,
So
so,
he sent me 2.
okay. All right,
Which I don't
Dwayne,
remember.
you're still in Moncton now, and you left off talking about the doctor interviewing you in his room.
Dr.
talking
Evans
about
and
the
Dr.
report.
French.
Dr. Evans and Dr. French. Okay,
He
continue
was
on.
basically telling me that, you went through our program, your pain didn't change, this, that, and the other thing. I said, well, that's your opinion of that. I said, I was told I had to complete the program because if I quit, I was thrown out anyway. That's why I completed your program. Either way, he's sitting here diagnosing me before he's even got the last results from the last doctor I went to see.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Okay. So what you're telling me is he diagnosing you and all your reports aren't in yet?
No.
And you've never sat with him other than 45 minutes altogether? Is that what
Pretty well, that's what I would
Pretty
say,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
That
So-
was from my first
Yeah.
initial meeting,
Yeah.
17 weeks prior to that, up till the day I sat with him and Dr. French.
So anyway, basically he wrote up your report and talked to you about it, and we all know what that said, and it's not a very decent report, respectful of the truth about you.
Not at all.
And I don't think he took into
thing is-
consideration, Dwayne, that the time lag over 14 to 15 years
Yeah.
that you weren't looked after and weren't attended to by the system.
Exactly.
And you were on medication
Yeah.
for that problem for 14 years.
A change of medications
Yeah.
throughout the years.
And
It was a
usually-
little too big.
My understanding of an injured person, without therapy and rehabilitation, things only get worse, they don't get better.
That's right.
Okay. So, all right, so anyway, we got the report all done and it's sent back to the WCB. You're home now in Nova Scotia. Who contacted you next?
I can't remember who contacted me next. I think by that point there, I was told I wasn't allowed to call into workman's comp unless it was after hours, so I could talk on their answering machine, or I got a lawyer and he wrote them a letter, because I had enough of my so-called caseworker, Jennifer Clark.
Yes.
I'm tired of the lies and
Yep.
the deceit from her, and actually, while I was in Moncton, I ended up losing a half a tooth.
Yep.
So, I went to therapy the next morning.
Yep.
I explained to Marcel Rowe that, I lost a half a tooth.
Yeah.
I'm in a lot of pain here with this.
Yeah.
So he wanted me to do the Nautilus after I stretched and I walked. I said, no. I'm in a lot of pain here with a half a
Yeah.
tooth. So by the time I get back to my room, my phone is ringing. Jennifer Clark is on the other end of it telling me if I leave Moncton and get my tooth fixed, I'm out of the program.
So basically, Jennifer Clark is your caseworker. We're left with the impression that our caseworkers are there to help us and guide us through the system and make sure that we're looked after properly under the workman's compensation legislation. When in actual fact, what Jennifer Clark was doing to you was intimidating you and threatening you and
Through the whole
coerced
process.
you into a process
Through the whole process.
after 14 goddamn years of being out of the program altogether.
Exactly.
And now she's back in your life and they're back in your
Yeah.
life still picking at you.
Oh yeah, well, when I was done with Moncton, I was told I had to go to a place called Career Essentials, so I could learn how to fill out an application and make up a resume. Now, I haven't worked in 15 years. What am I going to put on a resume?
What's amazing about this whole process, that the number of people that are involved in your injury, that are making big money.
Oh, outrageous amounts of money. Outrageous.
And I've talked to people in the small business community, Dwayne, and one of the biggest things that they get upset over is the increase in their high rates. The money that they're told by the workman's compensation system, they have to pay into that system.
It's because of companies like Career Essentials and these Capital Health and what's the other one there? The Atlantic Pain Centers in Moncton. They're called cash cows.
It's parasites. They're feeding off the injured worker, and basically
They're companies and physicians that are hired out by workman's compensation to give them the answer they want. Now, I've already been diagnosed by the pain clinic here in Halifax.
Yes.
Right to the date where this program supposedly started by a qualified doctor. And they took their
He
doctor.
started the pain clinic, didn't he?
He did start the pain clinic here in Halifax. He's a very well respected doctor.
I think
Now-
Mary Lynch has took over that pain clinic from
Yeah.
him now. Yeah.
Well, now he's in Calgary, started up one up in
Yeah.
Calgary. I've spoken to him during the process of me going to Columbia Health and Moncton, and like he told me, he said, if I wrote it on a piece of paper, I stand behind it 150%. So as far as I'm concerned, I was diagnosed by a Nova Scotia doctor I've lived, worked all my life in Nova Scotia.
Oh, he was more than a doctor, he was a
Oh,
specialist.
yeah, he was an anesthesiologist
Yeah,
also.
Yeah, specialist.
And a pain doctor,
And
and a
isn't
very
it-
smart and a good man.
Isn't it amazing how a caseworker, probably with a minimal education in the workers' compensation system, can overrule a qualified, well-educated specialist, a surgeon or doctor?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't remember Jennifer Clark ever telling me that she went to doctor school.
Yeah.
I don't believe she has a diploma on her wall stating that she's a doctor.
That's right.
I mean, so,
Did
the
they
way I look
ever,
at it,
did they ever say anything to you about maybe, well, one of the things I hear out of a lot of these caseworkers, well, maybe you should lose some weight and get rid of your back problems.
oh, I've heard a little bit about that. Now,
Yeah.
for me, it was a lot of, I'm an angry man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just don't like us. I don't like you because of the way you treat me.
Yeah.
I'm 15 years into this process, and I thought I would get a little bit of respect out of you people, but I got absolutely nothing. But
Now, you've been around like I have. I mean, I'm an injured worker myself, but we're not concerned about my situation at this time. I have heard many injured workers who have come to me, talked to me on the phone, sent me emails. I've been to coffee shops, road shopping, they recognize them, they'll come up to me and tell me their life's problems and how they were screwed over by the WCB legislation.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure, you being an injured worker out there, you've met with other injured workers.
Oh, you'd be surprised at the stories. Now, even when I went to this Career Essentials, when I was there, everybody that was pretty well sent there, their post in life was going to be a security guard. They made you get online, and they had a program that you had to fill out, and there was a bunch of questions whether you were honest or dishonest and what. I mean, things that probably should never have been applied to in the first place. And they made you do this, and then you were categorized into what positions you could do.
But you did, I noticed in your file that you gave me, and I'll just go over and get it here, the file here that you gave me, there's a whole bunch of job-seeking applications in here.
Oh, is there? Oh, yeah. Well, now they told me that I had to go apply and be a security guard. That's all I was allowed to be.
And you did all those things.
I went and I applied for 22 positions there in the metro area. I even went out as far as the airport to do it. I don't even have a vehicle to get to the airport.
Now,
all I did is I was up front with them and I told these companies, I'm applying for a job, chronic pain through workman's compensation, but I'm still on my medication.
That's right. And what is your medication that
I take 6 8-milligram Dilaudid a day.
6 and 8 milligrams of
No,
Dilaudid?
6 8-milligram Dilaudid.
6 8-milligram Dilaudid a day?
A day, just to minimize my pain.
Yes.
I've got days where I have to take
Now, who
more.
prescribed those Dilaudid to you?
My doctor, my family doctor.
Okay. Who pays for those Dilaudid?
Workman's comp does right now.
So Workman's Comp recognized the fact that you still suffer pain because they're covering the cost of your medication.
Yeah, that's the only medication they're covering for me now. Anything else I have to put out of my own pocket.
So this is totally amazing, This is what I'm saying. I've got your file here, which I've started to go through, and I am going to go through it, and I've got more of these files around. My whole point is what Dwayne Rowe is going through here in this whole system is typical of what every injured worker in this province goes through.
All I can say to that is, I feel so sorry for us injured workers because we're treated like we're just animals. We're not even treated as good as animals.
Did you contact any politicians?
I've contacted Dave Wilson, the NDP health critic for Nova Scotia, over 2 years ago. Dave Wilson knew about the Columbia health issue. I called Human Rights at that time. They wouldn't do anything. As soon as you mention workman's comp, everybody seems to run the other way. I don't understand that.
You can't get a lawyer in this province either. Now, did you contact the Minister of Labor, Mark Perrin?
I called Mark Perrin's office, and Mark Perrin's office got me in touch with a man named Peter Harrison. Now, I've spoken with Peter Harrison over a 6-month period, and I explained what happened, and I've also let him know that, I wanted a lie detector test so I could prove my allegations. I was more than willing to pay for mine, Jennifer Clark's, and Tim McGinnis's lie detector test.
Okay.
And nobody would even speak to me about it.
What we're going to do is we're going to end this session today.
Okay.
And we're going to come back at it another time, and I'll put these up and get them things in order. And I'll go through them. and we'll be in touch.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'll get in touch with him. We're gonna do this again. I have an interview with a couple other injured workers this week coming
Oh,
up
no,
as
you
well.
mean whenever you're ready to set it up.
All
I'm
right,
ready
so
to
we'll
set it
end
up.
this, and